Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so hey, actually, let's get started. So I think in the previous, so we have covered. Yeah, I need to some time to refresh my memory. So we cover tax and we cover inflation. So and then on the YouTube there's videos for benefits cost analysis, decision tree, um, and uh, and there's one more thing I forgot. Anyway, so today we'll be talking about the benefit cost analysis. So if you have watched the video on YouTube, that's good. If you haven't watched the YouTube video, there is some basics explanations about what is BCA and what is benefit cost ratio. So today we will go through two examples of how we can implement BCA or BCR. So here's just some fundamentals for BCA. So BCA stands for benefit cost analysis. Benefits cost analysis. It is used for public sector decision making. So public sector decision making. The difference between public sector decision making and the private sector decision making is private sectors are more of, I would say, revenue driven. So it's more of comparing the cost and the revenue, right? Versus public. Public, it's more social benefits driven. Social benefits driven. Example of this is we can see right now the coronavirus situation. If the government is launched one kind of vaccination, right? Vaccination is more for the social benefits purpose, so to speak, right? It's more for the people, not for the purpose of making money, right? If compared with the private sectors. So for those kind of public sector projects evaluation, the method we use for evaluate them is called benefit cost analysis. Essentially, it's a very simple concept. It's your benefits of those projects, social benefits, divided by the cost of the projects, right? So in this case, let's say in the videos, I cover one example about a park where was divided by a river from the city. It was separated from the city by a river, and then the city was trying to build a bridge, right, over the river to connect to the city and the park. So the social benefits of that is so what convenience it can bring to the citizens to enjoy more of the park, right? So in other words, how many more visits it can generate for the parks. So that is considered as a social benefits. The cost of that of this project will be basically the construction cost, right? Construction cost of the bridge itself, and then I would say the maintenance cost, right? The maintenance and the operating cost, right, of the bridge. Okay. So this part is relatively easy to quantify, right? The cost part is easy to quantify. The challenge part is the social benefits. Sometimes it's very hard to quantify. In this case, we can quantify as, for example, how many visits per year, right? How many visits per year, right? So compare with before, let's say if there is an increase of visits, right? So that's considered as the first social benefits. Second, social benefits from by building the bridge here will be probably the reduced cost of the transportation, right? For example, transportation. So before, the people had to travel around the rivers in order to get a park, right? But now through the bridge, it's easier for people to access to the park. So there are two social benefits here. So those can be quantified. So if we say this is if we quantify this, so say 1, and then this is a quantification of Q2. So if we look at our cash flow, the benefits of the social benefits for the visits will be basically Q1, right? Every single year, and also will be Q2, right? And it's gonna happening for many years once the bridge is built. So every single year we'll have the same social benefits. So we give a time period. So say if this is 0, 1, let's say 5, right? So the total. So now the total benefits. So will be equal to every single year's Q1 plus Q2, right? And convert that into the present words, right? Convert that into present words. And then sum those present words. So that's the total benefits. So that would be basically all these benefits here. Every single year convert to 0. So the second year convert to 0. Every single year convert here and then sum together. So that's the total benefits. So that's the benefits part. So for the cost part, so we have the first capital cost, which is basically the cost of the bridge, right? And then every single year we'll have a maintenance cost. So that's up to 5 years, right? So the total cost will be basically the capital cost, which is the price of the bridge, right? And since the capital cost is already at the present worth, so we don't need to convert that. So then plus every single year, the maintenance and the operating cost, right? Convert that. Maybe I should write PW here, present worth for maintenance operating cost, right? So convert all of this cost to the first year here. Okay, and then add this together, so that's our total cost here. So our BCR, the benefit cost ratio here, will be basically the total benefits of building the bridge, giving 5 years, divided by the total cost, right? So this ratio, so in the case of if BCR is bigger than 1, so that will give us the total benefits is bigger than total cost, right? So which means in 5 years this project is viable for us for the public sector to invest, for the government to invest. So that's good. So if BCR is less than 1, so that will give us a situation of this. So we'll reject the project. And then if BCR equal to 1, that's basically a break-even situation where our total benefits are equal to our total cost for building the bridge. So that's a simple example about how we use the benefit cost ratio and benefit cost analysis for analyzing a bridge construction project by the government. So just want to collect some feedback here. So is that clear so far? There is a meeting chat box here. You can type your feedback here. Just want to collect some feedback here before I'm moving forward. Okay, sounds good. So now let's take a look some other examples. Just start with a new one. So here's my prepared example. Okay, so let me just put it here. Okay. Second. Okay. Just set this right here. Okay. So this question is asking there are four mutually exclusive alternatives to build a road. Present worth of the social benefits. So this column here is the. Just 1 second. So the first column here is the social benefits for four alternatives, right? And then the second column is the present worth or the cost for different alternatives. So the question is asking which alternative should be chosen. So before, in the previous example of building the bridge between the park and the city, it was for independent project, right? It was just for one alternative. So when we have multiple alternatives, the comparison actually follows two steps. So the first step is to calculate the benefit cost ratio for each of them, right? For each of them. So by doing this, we will know that which project has the BCR that's bigger than 1. So for those that's less than 1, we will just exclude them in the second round. We will only include those ones that has a BCR that is bigger than 1, because those projects actually their social benefits is bigger than their social cost. Then so this is step 1. So step 1, and then this is step 2. Okay. So in the step 2, we'll calculate the BCR delta between the two projects. So for example, if we have project A and project B, right? This is just the concept. So it has nothing to do with alternative A, B, C, D here. It's just a hypothetical example here. So now if we have project A and B, okay? Let's say project A and project B, they all pass the first step. Their BCR is bigger than 1. Now, we need to calculate the BCR delta. So BCR delta, let's say B minus 1. So that will be equal to the benefits. So the present worth of the benefits, say B minus present worth of benefits A, okay, and then divided by our present worth of cost B minus present worth of cost A. Okay, so here is basically the delta between the benefits, right? And then this is a delta between the costs. So when we calculate this, so if BCR B minus A is bigger than 1, so we'll choose project B. Okay. The reason for that is if our BCR B minus A bigger than 1, that leads to the situation where our PW benefits B minus, so we simplify this, so that will be BW, so BW cost of B, right, bigger than PW cost B minus PW cost, oh, sorry, benefits of A minus PW cost of A. So this is basically the benefits minus, so the benefits minus the cost of project B, right? So basically this means the net benefits, right? By subtracting the benefits from the cost, the net benefits of project B is bigger than the net benefits of A, right? So that's why we select the project B. Okay, so if I put a graph here, you can see the situation. I think I have this graph in the YouTube video as well, but let's just draw it here. So for project B, for project A, let's say project A, this project A's cost, right? So cost, and then this is the project A's benefits, right? So the net benefits of project A will be only here, right? So this is the delta. This is delta, which is this one. Okay. Now let's change another color here. Now let's say we have a project B with less cost and also with less benefits, right? So you see the delta here. It's here, delta. So delta here is here. So the net benefits of project B is actually bigger than this one. Even though in this situation, if you just see the benefits of B is less than the benefits of A, but we still will choose the project B, right? The reason is the delta between the benefits and the cost for project B is bigger. So in a mutually exclusive project evaluation, instead of just considering the benefits over the cost, we need to consider the delta between the benefits and the cost. And we always choose the project that has bigger delta. So for continue, quick question, just collect some feedback. Is the concept clear? I'm going to answer Carrie's question here. When BCR is equals to 1, that's just a break even. So we don't accept it. Yeah, we're always looking for a situation where our social benefits is always bigger than social cost. Okay. So is the concept of the calculating the delta, the BCR delta, clear? Is the okay. Now, yeah, feel free to write your comments there. I will address them. Now let's go back to this example here. I'll just use a different color. Okay. So to follow this logic, step 1, step 2. So for this question, the step 1 will be calculating BCR A, right? So BCR A will be the cost of benefits, which is 100 divided by 80. So that's 1.25. So BCRB, that will be 150 divided by 85. So that's 1.76. So for C, BCRC, that's 1.7. BCRD equals to 1.33. Okay. So from here, we can see that all of them, actually, the BCR is bigger than 1. So they are all qualified for the second round, the second step. Now let's move to the second part. Second round. So for second round, you need to build a base case, right? So the base case, we can start with either of these two project alternative comparison. So here we just start, let's say we start BCRB minus A, right? B minus A. So that will be 150 minus 100, 85 minus 80. Okay, and just zoom out. So that's 150 minus 100, 85 minus 80, right? So this will give us the value of 10. Yeah. One trick here is, like, the reason I choose B minus 1A is it will give you because the cost for B is bigger than the cost for A, right? So let's say now the BCR delta is 10 here. So for that case, we'll choose. So this will give us conclusion of choose B. So choose B over A. Right? So now we don't. So the A is gone. Right? So we stay with this 3. So now we just need to choose between B and let's say C minus B. Okay. C minus B. So C minus B. So that will be 170 minus 150 over minus 85. So this will give us 1.33. So this one will lead to the conclusion of choose C over B, right? Over B. So C. So we'll keep C. Now we exclude alternative B. And we keep doing that for the last option between C and D. So that will be D minus C. So that will be 0.6. So it's less than 1. So we'll keep the C. So we'll keep C. So C is our best alternative. Okay. So if you go back to see the step 1 here, if you just see the benefits cost ratio on each individual project, actually the project B has the highest value for 1.76, right? However, after we perform step 2 analysis, we find out C is overall the best alternative. Okay, let me just go back here. Is that clear? Collecting some feedback. At the same time, I will save this picture and send it to you. I'll save this. So I call it benefits cost analysis sample 1. Okay, so it should be somewhere here. So let me So is the concept clear so far? Any feedback? And I posted the notes here, so you can see if you need to look back, if you need to go back and review it, here's the picture. Subject, next project, choice project. Normally you use the project with higher cost minus the projects with lower cost. So if you see here, so 85 minus 80, 100 minus 85, D and C, between D and C is 150 minus 100. Okay, cool. So that's our first questions. I think today we will there's another question, similar question. We can go through 2 questions for today, and then we can go from there. Let me just start a new session here for question number 2. So there's a question number 2. Okay. So the question 2 actually is same concept. Is question 1 already give you the present words, right? So if you look at the equation we talk about for BCR calculation, so the BCR equals to the present words of the benefits over the present words of the cost, right? So in the previous example, those 2 were given, right? Those 2 were given, so you don't need to calculate that. This question here, basically they're not given, so we need to do a little bit calculation. So let's just go through the examples first. So a provincial government in a small city considering a project of city dump site. There are 3 alternatives, so that's this, and this. So for these 3 projects, to construct those sites, it will cost $10 million for the first site, $12 million for the second site, and $14 for the third site. Initial investment for that also count $5 million, $4 million, and $3 million. Maintenance cost for that is 0.5 million per year, 0.6, and 0.4 for 3 different alternatives. So that's considered our cost here, but it's not given as a present word. So we need to factor those inputs and calculate that to convert that into our present words for cost. And then second part says each site expected to provide services valued at $3 million per year. So that's considered as a benefits. So that's our first benefits here, benefits. And then assume 100 years study period. So okay, so when we consider this present words calculation, our cash flow diagram actually consider 100 years. Discount rate is 5%, so that's our interest rate is 5%. 10% sale value of the site after 100 years, right? So that is the considered as the salvage value, right? Rank these sites in terms of the BCR and which one is the best scenarios for that. That's the question it's asking for. So it's the same thing. 3 mutually exclusive projects. Compare them using the BCR methods. So I'll leave it here for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. You can think about it how if you're in my position, how you want to solve this. You may want to list some of this on your notebook, and just write down some quick equations. And then maybe after 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can come back and give the solution. So I will I will mute myself for about 1 or 2 minutes, and you can think about it. Then I'll come back for that. And just one note here that the value of the site here, it's worth mentioning that the value of the site here is opportunity cost. So it should be added to the social cost. So the value of the site is talking about here. So all this is considered as a cost, social cost. Okay, so let's just go through this together. So again, for BCR analysis, 2 steps, right? First step is calculate the BCR for individual. For those ones who are bigger than 1, value bigger than 1, we'll take to the second step, which is calculate the BCR delta. Okay. So in order to calculate the BCR for each individual project, we need to figure out their benefits and their cost. And in this particular example, it's not given as the inputs, so we need to calculate them. So for first one, calculate the BCR. Maybe I just use a different color. So let me pick another color. How about blue? Okay, so calculate BCR I, right? So here I equals to 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3 projects. So for site A here. So for site A, let's take a look at the cost. So the PW cost. So the cash flow diagram for site A looks like this. It will have initial investment and also opportunity cost of $15 million, right? And then it will have $0.5 million per year as a maintenance, right, cost. And then this will last for 100 years. So this is basically the cost for site A. So if we try to convert that into present worth, so that will be 15. 15 is already the present worth. So plus 0.5. So 0.5 is annuity in this case, times times P over A. The interest rate is 5%. 5%. So 5% over 100 years. Right? So this will give you 24.2 24.924 million. Okay, that's the cost for site A for the present worth. So the benefits for that will be basically the first benefits is the $3 million service value per year. Again, so if we draw the cash flow diagram, that will be look like $3 million, right, for 100 years. So this is the cost, and this is the benefits. So that will be $100. So that will be basically $3 million times P over A, 5% over 100 years, and plus by the end of the 100 years, the site will have a sale value of 10% of its value. So that will be $10 million of its value times 0.1, 10%, which is 0.1. So and this is considered as a future value, right? So we will have 10 times 0.1 and times. So now we need to convert this the future value back to its present worth. So that will be P over F, 5%, 100 years. Okay, so this will give us the a total value of 55,552 million. Okay, so now we have our benefits and cost. So if we calculate our BCR for project site A, so that will be 59.552 divided by 24,924. So this will give us 2.4. Okay, so it's bigger than 1. So for site A, we know it's okay. We can use it for second round. Now we take a look at site B. So this is site A. If I use a different color here. So site A, and then this is site B. Okay. So for site B, we'll use the same methodology. So PW cost is equal to 12 plus 4. So that's 12 plus 4. So the value and also initial investment right here. And then we have 0.6 as its annual maintenance cost. So 0.6 times P over A, 5%, 100. So that will give us 27.909. Okay, so same thing for benefits. We can follow the same logic where how we calculate for benefits for site A. So that number will give us to 59.553. Okay, and then we calculate. So then we calculate the BCR for site B. Will be 2.134. That's bigger than 1 as well. So we'll keep site B. Now we'll move to site C. So basically the logic is the same here for calculating the cost, the present worth cost and present worth for the benefits. So I just write the answer here. So the BCR site C will be basically 2.388, bigger than 1. So the present worth for cost is 24.939. Okay, and then the present worth for the benefits is 59 59,555. Okay, so now we have complete the calculation for the step 1, which is the BCR for each individual project. Okay, Claire collected some feedback here. Is that clear so far? Yeah, I'm looking for some feedback. Are you guys still following the concept here? And if you have any questions, feel free to type in. Okay. Now, now we move to step 2. So that's the step 1, right? Now we move to step 2. Step 2 is basically calculate for BCR delta. So for BCR delta, we can calculate using the similar method, same method as the question sample 1. So we'll take BCR B minus A, so that will be 59.553 minus 59.552, I think, divided by 27.909 minus 24. Okay, so this is 0.0. There are many zeros here, so 30 and 34. Okay, so in this case, which one we should choose and which one we should keep and which one we should exclude? Please type in which one we should choose. Which one we should keep. So which one we should keep? Is it alternative B or alternative A here? We should keep. Any thoughts? Choose B. Okay. So if we so here for BCR delta. So BCR delta. Let me open the previous. Let me see if I can open the previous one. So here. So when we have a BCR B minus A, if B minus A bigger than 1, then we select the B, right? If the BCR delta, which is B minus A less than 1, we should keep A, right? We should keep A. So here, we should keep A. Since our delta, because this number is less than 1. Okay. Now, okay, sounds good. So now we'll keep A. So now it's between C and A, C minus A. So this will give us 0.2. It's also less than 1. So we will keep A. So the conclusion is A is the best option. Right? A is the best option. So let's take a look here. Yeah, so A is our best option. So some feedback. Okay, I'm going to save this picture here for your reference. So, sample 2. Okay. So that should be sample 2 here. Sample 2. Okay. Yeah. So today we'll just go through these 2 examples. Hopefully, give you some good understanding about BCR, BCA. One example, the present words was given. The second question, the present words was not given. So we calculate the present words and then compare 3 alternatives for question number 2. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email or just type in this chat box here. Then I can follow up with you. Maybe I can do another live session tomorrow. Around same time. Focus on a different topic, maybe the break-even analysis or the decision tree. So if you have not watched the videos for YouTube, please go ahead and watch the YouTube videos so that you can get some understanding about the concept before we go through the examples. Okay. So I think that's the end of today's session. So any feedback? Maybe I will ask you, do you find it is helpful? I will just try to host more live sessions tomorrow and the week after, so next week until end of the semester. You're welcome. You are welcome. So if there's specific questions or chapters you want me to go through, I can go through. I'm thinking we can in the upcoming live sessions, we can go through the question for decision tree, break even analysis, and we can go through some examples actually for inflation, because that week I was away, so the TA delivered the lectures for inflation. I don't know if you guys had enough exposure about that chapter or not, but we can go through some examples there. Okay, so I think that's the end for today's session. Oh, one more thing, the assignment 3 was posted, so please take a look. I think you can start trying to solving those questions. I will do the same thing similar to assignment 2. It's due, I think it's due on the 8th. So sorry, it's due on the April 8th. I think that's also the last day of the semester. So I suggest you start early, because yesterday I had some last minute submissions. Anyway, just start early, and if you have any questions, let me know. I will post some more tutorials for assignment number 3 as we approaching the deadline for submission. Okay. So if you guys don't have any questions, I will close down today's session, and I will see you guys next time. And take care. Take care. Stay safe. Bye now.